We're here today to talk about some of the services we provide and our focus, as well as where our patients can be more involved in a healthy lifestyle, sports and recreation through a partnership with recreation centers, Gyms and Y's, and Lakeshore Foundation in Birmingham. We see children with all ages from birth in the hospital all the way up to 18 to 21. We're really focused with physical therapy and occupational therapy on making sure that they're able to learn to do the activities that mean the most to them. So we do use a family-centered approach and a patient-centered approach, asking the family and the children when they're old enough to have an opinion what matters to them, what kinds of activities do they want to be involved in, whether it's play, feeding, walking, or just being able to use equipment that will help them do those things better. So we'll have you meet some of our graduates who still stay in touch with us. We're glad to be able to share our philosophy and our focus and introduce you to some of the stars.
I remember that we did a lot of stretching because I have a really tight disability. We also did a lot of walking, which was painful at the time, but I appreciate now. I can't walk as well as I used to, but I feel as if I didn't do therapy that it would be worse than it is, and I would be completely wheelchair bound. I moved schools when I was in the 6th grade, and my physical therapist's husband played basketball. And she told me it would be a great experience for me to get some physical activity and join sports, as all kids wanted to do. I just couldn't keep up at that same age with the other kids who ran around and jumped and took off. I just was not as fast. And so she brought me to Lakeshore when I was in the 6th grade, and I hopped in a wheelchair and I fell in love at that moment. After playing basketball about a year, I hopped into a bunch of other sports. I became a field and track athlete, I became an archery athlete, I became a swimming athlete, I powerlifted a little bit. It changed the world for me, and it gave me a chance to show that I can do things just as well as other people, but with a little bit of adaptation. I used to think when I was younger that I was all alone, and you have to realize that there are people out there just like you. And wheelchair sports and physical therapy give you that chance to show what you have, and show that just because you're in a wheelchair, you're not inadequate.
I remember going physical therapy the first time, and they were like, well, Erica, by the time you leave, these are the goals that we're going to reach. This is what you're going to be able to do. And I was like, that's absolutely impossible. And after several years, I was able to walk with one cane, and I actually walked across the stage at graduation without any support whatsoever, which was one of my main goals at physical therapy. Physical therapy helped me adjust a lot. I went from walking to not even knowing how to use a wheelchair to being able to pop up curbs and, change casters. But one day my mom was like, Erica, I talked to a few of your therapists, and I think we're going to get involved in Lakeshore finally. And there was this camp that Lakeshore held. It was Camp Jaws, and what they did was they had all kind of adaptive sports. They had tennis and rugby and, of course, wheelchair basketball. Never did I think that 8 years later that I would be where I'm at now. So just to keep your head up and just keep doing what you're doing and know that it's going to pay off in the end.
My other grandma, she showed me this video of horseback riding, the special equestrian video, and I was like, I want to do that. And then so I went and did that, and then I sort of got experience more than the other people. So I went to a private horse farm where I get more skills than the other place.
We started Special Equestrians when she was about 4.5. And pretty much was doing lakeshore, swimming, PT&OT, pretty much all the time. But she wanted to ride independently. She wanted to go on trail rides. She wanted to learn different skills. So that's what we're in the process of right now, and she's actually doing some training to do some horse shows on obstacle horses, which is new in the circuit of horse shows. And just after a few sessions, you could really tell the difference in her core strength, and where she wasn't slumped in the saddle, but where she could sit up straight in the saddle. That was big. You know, you get involved in one thing and they say, oh, have you been to Lakeshore? Or, oh, do you know about special equestrians? Or, so, but we've come a long way.
After about a year, he still wasn't lifting his head, he wasn't sitting up, he wasn't crawling, and I went to my doctor and I was like, we're not meeting milestones.
Once I really got back to being myself, moving the way I used to move and doing the things I used to do, that was probably one of the biggest milestones for me. As a kid, I got involved in city league sports, football, baseball, anything I could get my hands on really. I always had a passion for sports, and I did what I could, however I could, and then I ended up stumbling across wheelchair basketball and fell in love with it. I've been playing for the last 12 years and haven't really looked back, pushing myself physically so that I can hit the best physical condition that I'm capable of hitting.
Joining Lakeshore was exceptional because then he was around people who understood what it was like to have challenges and still persevere and dedicate and not see their challenge as an obstacle, but as something that you can still enjoy life to the maximum.
You realize that it's not necessarily something that defines you. Yes, it may be a part of who you are, but it's just that. It's a part of who you are. It's not who you are.